Welcome to In This Season podcast, where we unpack the most empowering conversations, have exclusive and inspirational interviews, and host special events. Join Tammy, some call her Butterfly, and explore life's purpose by learning how to embrace each season of your life with confidence, strength, and purpose. Whether you're blooming in the spring, or shining in the summer, or embracing change in the fall, or gracefully hibernating in the winter, get ready to be inspired. Join us right here on this season of In This Season podcast with your host, The Butterfly. It's time, no matter what season it is.
Can't hear you, sweetie. You're on mute.
I'm on mute. I was playing around with some things and I had to mute myself because I was trying to do something different this morning and don't know it didn't work. So good morning. How
you doing?
Good.
How
is
everybody? It was kind of
everybody?
because I couldn't hear you, but I can hear you well now.
Okay. Was it on? It was you
Mhm.
good? It's on. Okay.
Mhm. All good.
So happy Sunday to you, Brown Head. Happy Sunday.
Thank you.
Got your coffee?
I do. Just got it.
Yeah.
I'm so sore and tired, like my physically fatigued. But I got my my little robe. I got my coffee. I'm comfortable. Woke up to see family. Yep. I'm tired, boy. I'm tired. As soon as it's over, I'm going right back to sleep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to the grocery store.
Are you?
Yeah. Get some stuff for today. So this is probably the real barbecue day for a lot of people.
That's right.
Yeah. So, well, let's jump right into it. Who do we have? I don't have any comments this morning. Yes, it does say we are live because I've been messing with some stuff. I was sitting here thinking we were live for a good little second or two or three. And I looked up and it still said go live. And I'm like, oh, I didn't go live. So, but it's all good. I slept really well. My coffee is so good this morning, y'all.
Is it?
I drank it like half of it in like one walk. So I'm now wishing I could get, and I might slip and get some more as you read. But welcome, everybody. Let's get into it, Brandon, so we can get you back in the bed to get some rest.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna stay up and go at it.
And I'll see you here soon.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get our Instagram people in. And for those of you who are out there, let's say good morning, y'all. It is September 1st. How about that? You know, we are at 214 days, right?
Wow.
200. I'm so proud. I'm gonna toot my own horn this morning. I woke up like really overjoyed about this, about doing something 214 days straight, just because I love it, just because I want to be a part of my own growth and my light shining, being for someone else, right? Not just for me. I'm happy about the growth I see in myself. The things that I'm no longer reacting to. I'm just thankful. So y'all, I'm doing this for y'all, but I'm doing this for me too, because this has been very, very helpful for me, to me, in my way of growing. It was it's time. And Brandon, we should be good there. I thought about how many times, Brandon, and how long I've wanted us to do something like this. It wasn't time. It just, this is the time. The time is now. God is so profound in His will for our lives. And I was also thinking about how the other day when the truck um, acted, well, it didn't act up. The truck did what trucks do, what batteries do, right? So, but I remember that morning when I cranked the truck up, I thought, that didn't sound right. So I know what I'm aware of. I was aware of it that morning. And that was to me, and y'all might say this girl's losing her mind. She's putting God into everything. And I am. Like that to me was a big thing because usually I'm like, crank it up, go. Don't know about a battery sounding crazy. But I did. So I went on and I got over to the storage, cranked it up to leave the storage. Didn't notice it, because I went right to the storage. So didn't notice it in between that time, but when I got ready to crank it up to leave, I heard it again. So I got down the street and of course I called Jimmy. It's like something's not right with the battery. And he's no, it's fine. And then it goes out. But I sat there. I would have. And this is how little, how much I'm putting God into my little details. I thought of how I sat there and ate my sandwich where I'm usually eating on the go. But I really sat and enjoyed my sandwich in the heat. For a moment, I sat up under a tree. So I saw the tree. I was like, wow, you know what? I go up and sit up under a tree. There's shade there. And I wasn't bothered. I wasn't bothered. I actually thought it was interesting and kind of funny that nobody asked to help. Um, I did think about, wow, God, I stop and help everybody. Nobody's helping me. But it wasn't the time for people to help me. God wanted me right where I was, sitting in the heat, eating my sandwich, and allowing myself to be content in that and trusting that this is just life happening. I can't do anything about it. There's no need of me getting pissed off, agitated, shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda drove the car, shoulda did this, da 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 da. It was none of that. And for that, I'm proud of because Tammy was a reactor. She reacted to her body, reacted to the medication. Her body reacted to life. It did not respond. So I'm just thankful for 214 days of being motivated, of you guys being here. Brandon, can't say enough. I'm going to say my brother here this morning. My brother, how are you doing? Right? And how can I help you make life right, right your life? I listen at you day in and day out, and I think, wow, how smart this young man is. You are. And I hope you know that God has his hands on you,
Thank you, Mama.
right?
I appreciate that.
Believe
Appreciate
and have that faith. My question is, do you believe and do you have faith? And you say, yes, yes, right?
that.
God says, let go of that branch, my son. Let it go. And you let it go so fast that you don't even know you had it. That's what I want you to do. Okay. So I wouldn't, I just, I don't know. That had to come out, I guess. But
Thank you,
y'all,
sweetie.
be proud of yourself. Toot your own horn. Grow. Plant your seed out of that thing. When you see that baby starting to peep out of that ground, man, you be so in awe that you want to do it all over again. So start on that part. Start right where you are. Right where you are. Brandon, I should have did this, but I noticed this morning when I was sending you the text that I was trying to send you something. Check on Brother Doug.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's see who we got with us. Good day. Welcome to September, my birthday month, and the coming of fall. That's from the Daughter in Love.
Yeah.
Gotta do something grand for her.
Yeah.
Gotta do something grand for her. I had babies yesterday, and I kept. Matter of fact, it was another grandma. Probably plenty of grandmas, but it was one in particular that I connected with while we were at Costco, and we were talking about how much we just love. Well, it was actually two how we loved. I think one of them was Mama, how we love the grandbabies. And the other one was, I was like, don't you wish you had their energy? Because her kids was just having a good time. And she was just trying to say, it's a lot of people in here. Y'all stop. And they wasn't bothered. They was just having a good time. Now, on the other hand, Kitsali eventually said, Grandma, can we get out of here? Can we please get out of here? Is what she said. She said, Grandma, can we please get out of here? I said, yes, baby, we can. We want to. So, but I also thought about Sella choosing to be a stay at home mom. Boy, that's her life every day because the kids are busy. They are forever. I'm talking about they are, what's this, Grandma? What's this? They're just they're learning and I enjoy it, but at the same time, oh my God, these people and these grandbabies, no, we got to come in here when there's
Yes.
nobody in here. We can't do the people and the grandbabies because there was a time I told Jimmy about this, Brandon. There was a moment where, and the guy probably didn't mean any harm, but I just felt like he was not being attentive that kids are around. And I went and got Sally, like she was just right near the basket, but and he had earbuds on, one for sure. But you have to be mindful. We should be, but adults seem like they're in this world by themselves when they're in the stores. Like it's their store, there's nobody else there. They're not paying attention. And so I was like, Zolly, stop, baby, because if he runs over you, it's gonna be a problem. And I said it so loud, I was like, oh, let me get out of here. So
Mm-mm.
it's just you're always having
That was
to
good.
you always have to watch them,
Yeah.
right? And you're watching the people too because you got kids with you. So it's like, whoo, it's like an adrenaline, right? So the
Yep.
kids, because again, this world is crazy. So you just always have to stay here, stay by me, don't move, da 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 da, right? Y'all will like this one for daily motivations for African American success. This lady, Caucasian lady, kept looking at us. And so finally I said something to her. And y'all guess what she asked me? You might know, but I'm gonna tell y'all what she asked me. Oh my gosh, is that all her hair? Is all of that her hair?
Like, nope, it's a sew in. Is all of that your skin? It's all.
But that was
But
just
she didn't mean no harm.
she didn't, but it's just amazing. You know, because it could it and mind you, so Zali and the kids are hearing this too, but we don't think because the nice thing too was say, wow, her hair is beautiful. That's what she was saying, but we
No,
don't know.
that's I mean, no. What she said is what she
Well,
said.
I'm saying sometimes we don't because of our disconnect,
Hmm.
right? And because they think, well, I've had someone tell my mom. Well, actually, it was at the Soul Sisters event. I think it was. Well, the last dinner we had, Soul Sisters. I believe that's what it was. That she just thought it was. We had our Soul Sisters dinner. Dr. Ernestine Hunt has been missing wherever you are, but she said I thought all black women had wore weave. She did. Like she just thought, and a lot of black women do. So it's a misunderstanding. That was one of the reasons for Soul Sisters as well, to understand, to help us understand our culture, because that's really what it's about. And sometimes it's like the lady said, "How did you learn to speak so well? Oh my gosh, you speak well." I go, "Oh my gosh, do black people not speak well? Do black
That's what I'm
young
saying.
men?"
Like, I think it's just it's. I think at this point people are willfully ignorant because of the silos that we create in the echo chambers that social media creates, to where you're only seeing whatever you agree with. You're not seeing what you disagree with.
Oh, oh,
You see what I'm saying?
say that again. Say that again.
On
We
social
are.
media, the way the algorithm is set up is it puts you into these intellectual ghettos. And what I
Mm,
mean by intellectual ghettos or social ghettos is where you're siloed and kind of cut off and in poverty of understanding um, the just how dynamic and how pluralistic and how diverse the rest of the world is. The algorithm really perpetuates whatever you already believe and only shows you an echo chamber. We could be looking at the same post, but even the comments that you see on Instagram, for example, I will see the comments that most align with what I would say. or what I would comment on. I don't see the full breadth of the comments. Or, and they might be there, but it might be further down. It won't show it as the first 5 or 10 comments. The first 5 or 10 comments will show the ones that I will most likely react to.
Mm.
Which is very interesting. So it creates these echo chambers where we see what we already believe. And so we get
Mm-hmm.
a false perception that the world is like that. So when we see something different, it's like, oh, is that really your hair? Oh, is that really? It's like there's a ignorance, and I think those ignorances should be called out. And sometimes we shouldn't be so. We should be nice and cordial, but be like, yes, that's all of her hair. It grows on her head, just just like regular hair. Do you think it's beautiful, or what I mean? Like that, we have to correct people in some way or give them some type of uh, pushback. Especially in those situations because the kids are listening too, and they can create these false receptions the same way
Yeah.
as the false perceptions as long as we let the false perceptions permeate and persist. So I know she
Yeah.
didn't mean any harm by it, but you can call me a nigga on accident, I'm gonna still check you.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Let's get going, Brandon. Let's try to do this in 15 minutes.
Let's do it.
Well, 7:16. So let's do 16 minutes. How about that?
All right,
Um,
sounds good.
sounds good. So let's get to rocking in it. Thank you for that. You made me look up when you said algorithm because I remember when I was just really ready to get off of Facebook, social media. And I'm still not just fun of it, but what I did because right now it is what it is. I prayed. I prayed about God. Let me see, because there's a bigger thing than algorithm, right? There's a bigger power. Let me say that, not thing, bigger power than the algorithm than Facebook. Guess just like God can tell you to let go of that branch, He can dismiss the algorithm. He can change it. So pray, and that's what I did. And I did start to see a difference. I started to see a difference in what I was allowed to see on my thread, on my news feed. I started to
Mm,
see a difference in it. So just pray for it. If you're going to be on there, pray for God to only allow you to see what He wants you to see, what's beneficial for you and your growth. So do that.
awesome,
All right.
awesome. Well, thank y'all again for joining us for, you said 215, 214, 214 days of the
And
In This
14.
Season podcast. If you guys are just joining us on YouTube or if you're watching live, please make sure to like the video and subscribe and share this video and this podcast with someone that you know, love, care about, or that needs this lesson. Okay. So thank y'all so much for joining us and involving us in part of your morning routine or just part of your daily routine. We appreciate it. A little bit more about what we do here today is we are reading through Daily Motivations for African American Success. This is a great book, high value, low cost book by Dennis Kimbro, that man right there. Hope you guys can see him. Hopefully, we can get him on the show one day or get his commentary on some of the work that we do every morning and trying to break down some of these passages and stories that he gives. But a little bit more about this book. Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, the author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Edelman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. What it teaches will last you a lifetime. So thank y'all again for joining us, and we are going to push on to the topic and title of the day, which is titled none other than Keep on Pushing. Keep on pushing. And Mary Church Terrell the feminist and civil rights activist, said, "Keep on going, keep on pushing, keep on fighting injustice." Again, keep on going, keep on pushing, keep on fighting injustice. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to be constantly excited and enthusiastic about their lives? They seem to experience one success after another. Their achievement level continues to escalate and climb. How do you explain it? These individuals use every ounce of their potential and are self motivated. But there are times that we don't know the limits of our potential until an external stimulus forces us to test them. This is why people who dread their jobs often perform poorly, and why those who love their job or their work do so well. One is motivated to perform, while the other is not. People who possess a burning desire to accomplish a goal attain it, while others, lacking the necessary motivation, fail. The following story illustrates the power of motivation. Years ago, an old gentleman took a cruise on an ocean liner when a storm blew up at sea. A young woman, leaning against the ship's rail, lost her balance and was thrown overboard. Immediately, someone plunged into the waves beside her and held her until the lifeboat came to their rescue. To everyone's astonishment, the hero was the oldest man on the voyage, well past 80. That evening, he was given a party in honor of his bravery. "Speech! Speech!" his fellow passengers cried. The old man rose slowly and looked around at the enthusiastic gathering. "There's just one thing I'd like to know," he said testily. "Who pushed me?" Don't wait to be pushed. The secret to real motivation has been known for years. The people who succeed are those who give themselves a little nudge just when they need it. And now our affirmation at the bottom of the page that we will carry with us on this Sunday, September 1st, is: no one needs to push me towards success. I am self-motivated. No one needs to push me towards success. I am self-motivated. Over to you, Mom. Who pushed
So, I pushed me.
you?
I am self motivated. I pushed me. And life pushed me. Life pushes us all, I think. It's just a matter of when you're pushed, do you get up? Because most times, or do you, if you don't fall all the way down, do you straighten up?
Mm,
But do you stay pushed and wait for the next push? Weight Watchers yesterday. Like, do you? So I think life pushes us, but I think we can push ourselves even the more. When life pushes us, it is about growing us, right? Um, the things that we're allowed to go through, I'll say for this time, is because we need to grow and grow through them. Because if God just made us do everything, like you need to be more patient, I'm going to make you more patient, right?
mhm, mhm,
I just don't think it works like that for us, right? So we have to be, because I'm gonna say I know for me, um, I'm very stubborn to a degree, but even the stubbornness is changing in me. It's different, right? It's not a stubbornness where it does not benefit me in the sense. Um, in the best way, because you can be stubborn just out of your ego and things like that, but stubborn to a way where my yes means yes and my no means no. And if you ain't okay with that, then my go means go. And that's loving myself. That's knowing when to say yes, knowing when to say no. Sometimes before you even hear the question or the explanation, this is what it is. um so yes, life has pushed me. So if I had to answer that question, but I'm pushing. I'm pushing. It's like the question I said: is life wearing you, or you wearing life? like the young man said, pimping wearing you. Same thing, pimping wearing you, or you wearing the pimping. Because in some way, shape, form, or fashion, I think what this young man is saying, life will try to pimp you. People will try to pimp you. And the only way they can is if you allow them. If you wear that pimpiness, if that's a word. If you wear the pimping, or you give it back. No, dude, this is yours. No, woman, this is yours. This is not part of my goal, my success. Um, it says, how do you explain it? That's about all these achievements. These individuals use every ounce of their potential and are self motivated. So let's look at what motivated is, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Brandon. Motivated people are happy. They enjoy their success because they earned it, right? They celebrate when things go well. They take time to appreciate hard work, even their own, and they move forward with the right attitude. Now, there's a word right there, because some of us got some stinky attitudes, period. Some of the most beautiful people outwardly become so ugly because you see beyond what you see. Not only see what they do, you hear what they say, you see what they do. So motivated people are happy. Are you happy? Are you content? Are you grateful with where you are in life, with what you have? And some of y'all have just what you asked for, but still you want more. You're not thankful with what you've asked for, what you have, right? They enjoy their success. What is success to you? What is your success? Did you earn it? What does that mean? Earned it. Did you earn it? Because sometimes y'all will think it's what you worked for, and I get it. But I also believe, I'm gonna throw this in here. I also believe there's a part of our world, um, Black America world, where especially with our men, um, be okay with receiving an inheritance. Be okay and see it as a blessing that you have people in your life that love you, support you in every way, shape, or fashion. Whether it's money, whether it's prayers, gift. Don't be so caught up in manhood, right? That you can't see the blessings in your life, and where it does not make you feel any kind of way other than blessed, highly favored, God's grace, God's mercy, and favor upon your life, right? So don't get twisted with earned it. So what you can do with the things that you've earned is maintain them. Be thankful, maintain gratitude, right? They celebrate when things go well, right? They take time to appreciate hard work, whether it's them or someone else. It says even their own, and they move forward with the right attitude. Let's have a right attitude. There's that word, RIGHT. Yesterday we were going to help men, Black men, right their life, RIGHT. Let's have the right attitude. What does that look like? Do you have it? Or do you only have it when life is going your way? Not when God have you pulled over on the side, battery dead, when you got to be somewhere, got people's food in the car, right? What kind of attitude do you have? Do you have a trusting attitude? Like, okay, God, this is right where you want me to be right now. So I'm going to be here with thankfulness and gratitude. Brandon pulled up the other day. I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm going to have a minute with my son, the son, right? I'm going to have a minute with him. We're going to sit down and eat. And that we did. And we had a good conversation. Thank God for the dead battery. The dead battery brought life. So who pushed you, you guys? No one needs to push me towards success. I'm about in now. I am self-motivated. So, Brandon, over to you. I think you got like what, 6 minutes? I don't know.
That's fine. I could use less, to be honest. It's all good. I think I think this is self-explanatory. Self-motivation is something that you have to create on your own. And sometimes when you don't have it, you have to be resilient enough and dedicated enough to fall on what you said you
Mm,
were going to do, right? I do not, I'm sure, and I can say this for me, my wife, sometimes I don't feel like waking up and doing this, but I said I would. I'm committed to it. I'm tired. My body hurts. I have scratches all over my body from Velcro from gloves and when I get in the shower and the water hits me or I start sweating, my whole body burns from all the scratches that I have. We push ourselves to the limit. Who wants to go and sweat amongst a bunch of stanky men and get elbowed in the face and kneed in the gut and kick other people? But there's a reason. There's a reason for it, and we've committed ourselves to it, right? I'm sure my wife doesn't want to get up some mornings. I'm sure she would love to stay in the bed, right? But she wakes up and prepares for the day because we're committed to this legacy, right? Um, I'm sure, we get up in the morning and have to pray, like, but God doesn't need our prayers. We need mercy from God. We need provision from God. We need guidance from God. So, imagine God boasting about us to the angels, saying, "Look at my servants, waking up, leaving their comfortable beds, leaving his beautiful wife or her handsome husband, you know, in the middle of the night to go pray, or early in the morning before anyone wakes up to go to seek guidance and forgiveness from me." Right? That's a commitment. I heard this story. Y'all know I always bring it to something spiritual. Um, of someone it's called a ulema, or one of the scholars of Islam, said that for 20 years he woke himself up to do what we call qiyam or tahajjud prayer, where qiyam means standing, where you're standing in the middle of the night praying, right? In the middle of the night, I'm talking about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. He said because he was trying to experience this sweetness, right? From
mm,
just the sweetness that comes from your Lord when you've been seeking Him and Him alone, right? This sweetness of dedication and submission and pushing your body to wake up when it says, "I want to sleep." When your flesh says, "No, I just want to be asleep right now." But there's a witticism inside of Islam that says prayer is better than sleep, or worship is better than sleep. So he said that he basically got his body to submit and overpowered his body, right, for 20 years. And then he experienced the sweetness of prayer for another 20 years. He said, but it wasn't until he made himself, he forced himself to worship in the middle of the night for 20 years straight until he experienced this certain kind of sweetness, of this certain kind of intimacy. And we feel these things, oh man, today is great, but there's something that I don't think many of us have tapped into yet, right? And I don't even know if I have, right? But there's this sweetness to the point to where you won't want to give it up,
mm.
where you're like, no, no matter what I do today, I know tonight I'm waking up and I'm worshiping God while everyone is asleep. I'm
That's
waking up out of the middle of the night, and I'm washing my hands down to my elbow. I'm washing my face behind my ears. The full way, the full tradition of what the prophets did before they worshiped. And I'm dedicating this time to worship. So he did that for 20 years and submitting his body. And then for another 20 years, that's when he experienced the sweetness of it. And it's something that he could never give up. Right. So imagine to do something like that for that long, to be committed for that long. But then you hear stories about Noah, may peace be upon him, who spent Years and years and years building a boat in the middle of a land where there was no water. You know what I mean? How
Mhm.
crazy he must have seemed. How crazy he must have seemed to keep on pushing as people walk by and were like, what is wrong with this guy? Building a big old boat for what? But on the day that flood came, he was okay. It was good for that moment.
Wow.
And so in the situation where like mommy said that we've been wanting to do something like this for years, you were putting planks on your boat, on your ark.
Mhm.
You can see the end and the destination. Oh, I want to do this. Yeah, God tells us that we want to, this is before us. He's guiding me to a certain way, and I can see the vision, but I don't have it right here before me. Right? I want it, God. I want the, I'm seeking this, and I'm seeking this for your pleasure, not for my own selfish desires, but I want to help people. I want to be a service to other people, you know. And God might have said, well, first, let that service be within you. In the second chapter of the Quran, it says that surely God will not change the condition of a people until they first change that which is within themselves, right? God will not
Mhm.
change the condition of a people, of a people. So this could be your people's going through an oppression, your peoples are going through a famine, or you're going through any type of hardship, any type of condition, right? Mental illness, generational curses, whatever condition, until they first change that which is within themselves. So it could have been for a moment such as this, right? You may have had to be in this particular place mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, even, right? To be able to support this type of thing, to have the mental space in order to, do the intellectual acrobatics that are necessary in order to really fulfill the shoes that we want to walk in. And
Right.
so that whole time, God may have been preparing you for a time such as this, for this season, right? So, for me, the keep on pushing is push despite. Like once you get your orders are to march. Your orders are to march, to put one step after the other. And so by keeping on pushing, you can't, after you've received your orders, you can't go back to your commander and say, hey, do I still have those orders? Do I still have those orders? You've got your orders. Keep on pushing. Because the commander might not show up again and say, hey, do you remember? Hey, do you remember? Hey, do you remember? Trying to continue to motivate you. It's like coaching. If a coach has to call you in order to come to practice when the schedule is public, then you are not the captain of the team. You might not even need to be on the team, right? So the people who are successful are the people who are self-motivated. Like I said in the beginning of this passage, I talked about people who just seem to be constantly excited and enthusiastic about their lives. They seem to experience one success after another. Their achievement level continues to escalate and climb. And how do you explain it? Because these individuals use every ounce of their potential and are self motivated. No one has to come and light their fire. They have a combustion engine all their own. What keeps you going? Is it a fire that you yourself can create? Is it something that you can churn inside of yourself? Or do you lean on others? Is the only reason you're successful is because, someone else called you and said, "Hey, it's time to get up. Hey, it's time to work on your book. Hey, it's time to write your song. It's time to send that letter to that business that you want to contract with. Hey, it's time to go right that wrong. It's time to fix that relationship. Oh, your mother's getting old. It's time to go have that conversation to clear the air, you know. It's time to heal. It's time to reveal. But if someone has to keep doing that to you, has to keep pushing you towards that, I doubt that you ever are successful with it. And like we said a couple days ago, maybe even yesterday, Time waits for no one. Time is undefeated, right? So if you don't keep pushing, know that time will. And the windows of opportunity eventually will close. Eventually, your time will be up. Eventually, your ability to push will be a little bit less. So push while you can. And now we see the situation of this 80-year-old man who seemingly jumped overboard to save this woman. And who knows, he's 80 years old. Maybe he was holding her to stay afloat. They fell in the water and he was holding her. She slipped and fell, and maybe he lost his balance. They
Yeah.
are on a boat in the middle of the ocean. There is a storm. Somebody could have pushed him, or something could have leaned over, and while the boat's going, up and down, something could have leaned over and rolled over and just pushed him over. So, but had he not gone in that water, maybe that woman would not have survived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagine if he weren't there. Imagine what you not. So that makes me think, if you don't push, what's the collateral damage, right? If you don't accept that inheritance, right? What's the damage on the next generation? Because if we keep creating the wheel and working on our own selves so siloed, then that also means that our children have to do the same grind and the same struggle, right?
Yes.
I heard a man say that his immigrant, he had some friends that were immigrants. Immigrants is a loose term, but I'm only using it for the sense that you guys can understand where I'm going with this. But he said, the immigrant said, I don't understand you guys, you know, because, you say that we come over here and we get all these things, but you guys are right here and not doing anything with what you have, right? The opportunities that we have here in the poorest of our communities are more than what some of them have in their middle class, in their upper middle class, right? In a lot of other countries. Access to a bank, access to a grocery store within 10, 15 miles even. You know what I mean? If you have the ability to walk or catch a bus, right, without fearing, a lot of hindrances and things like that, then you are blessed, right? If you can go to your neighbor and ask for some sugar, you're blessed. But he said, I don't understand, because you guys have a family. Let's say you have a family of four, a family of five, right? Three kids. When the kids get older, at 18, they're out of the house, getting their own place to rent, right? Now they have to have a job and all the work that they each play. So each kid has a different place that they want to live, their own apartment. So $800 a month, let's say, from each kid, right, is going to somewhere else that's not feeding your family. 800 by each kid, right? You got 24, or let me see. You got all this money going over to someone else that could have been home. What if those kids would have stayed home until marriage, and all that $800 each month would have gone to a savings, right? And now let's not even say a savings for themselves individually, but let's say that $800 plus that $800 plus that $800 would have gone into one pot, and they would have invested it. Let's just say on the S&P 500, and it grow 12% every year, right? 10 to 12% every year. And they work for 5 years, right? So now they're 23 years old and they've been saving $2,400 a month, or no more than that, $2,400 a month or something like that. Excuse
And
me,
Brandon,
bro.
now they can afford to go out.
Now they can
I may
not
say,
only not only that, but they could get one place and
yeah,
everybody have their own wing,
own space. Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
And so there's a there's some why is what's the reason people go to Costco? Because you can
Oh,
buy things in bulk. It's cheaper when you buy things in quantity. right? This is the same thing that for young, people who might be living in the street and understand drug life and drug dealing, all that stuff. It's the same thing when people buy a pound or so, of something versus buying an ounce of something. So the same things that you're using to do bad could be used to uplift you, but you got to keep pushing past the negativity. You got to keep pushing past black market things. You got to keep pushing past into something and use those same principles to benefit you. So if those same three individuals had one place, imagine 800 plus 800 plus 800. They're living in a mansion now instead of a petty apartment. You see what I'm saying? So the immigrant man was like, I don't understand how you guys do family. Everybody is individualistic. They want this for me, and
Hmm.
he has to have that for him, and that has. So they're in competition with each other, and they share the same last name. They share the same blood. So if they're in competition with each other, they're going to be in competition with the people around them. That is not supportive of a community. So what are you pushing for? And getting back to being self-motivated. I think you should be self-motivated, but I think you should be self-motivated for something greater than yourself, right? So if you're not accepting that legacy, if you're not accepting um that inheritance just to invent the wheel again, then you're pushing in the wrong direction. Or as my Uncle Mike would say, hustling backwards. Sometimes we hustle just to hustle. Sometimes we're motivated for the wrong things. So as we keep on pushing, let's analyze what we're pushing for, why we're pushing for it, and stay motivated towards the right things, not the wrong things. And that takes clarity, that takes guidance, that takes a purification of our heart, of our mind. It takes an analysis of who we are, where we're going, what we're doing, and what our purpose is. And I think a lot of people feel aimless. And that's why they don't feel self motivated, because they're working jobs for the money and not for the passion and not for the purpose. Right. So figure out what your purpose is. The passion will come easily from that. The push and the self motivation should come easy from that. Maybe you're not in the right spot. Okay. And maybe you are. So that's all I really have today. I know I kind of went around the world with that, but I wanted to touch on a couple things that I thought about in that instance. Over to
That
you,
you
Mom.
did, Brandon. I just would like to leave with this, particularly since you brought up the family dynamics of kids moving out and things like that. It's important for us to redefine or redetermine why we want kids to move out so early for a reason. One, I think society has just we've bought into that. Some cultures have bought into that.
Yeah.
Um, I want my space. He or she needs to learn how to be a man. Well, the best place for them to learn
Mhm.
that is to be around mama, a woman and a man doing life together, pulling resources together. But living alone, I looked up because I've heard about the effects of living alone and elderly and so forth, people in general. Living alone raises your risk of chronic diseases and can leave a person more vulnerable to some infectious diseases. Social isolation and loneliness may also be bad for brain health. These have been linked to poor cognitive function and higher risk for dementia, including Alzheimer's disease.
Mhm.
Look at how many people, do a research on how many people are getting dementia and Alzheimer's disease, right? Living alone for what? Right? People are out here paying. I remember telling a young lady when I was at the apartment, her mom had enough space for her and some more, but she was paying $1,600 for a one bedroom. Like, girl,
Mhm.
you better go home. And eventually she did, and was struggling to do it, like struggling out there trying to pay it for what? So you can come home, open the door, walk in, and there is nobody but you, right?
It's
And I
it's
thought,
the ego created, right?
yeah,
From
like I got my own space. I got this, I got that, but you in there miserable.
and you
And
really
I
don't have
broke.
anything.
Which you don't, but psychologically, a lot of things we do are for people. For the
Mhm.
for what it to look like. we are meeting the standards.
Trying to impress people that really don't give a damn about you,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
right?
All right, so
And so, you know, about that immigrant, he was like, you know, each one of those kids would have a car, whereas us, we would say, you know, the immigrant, him saying, then would get one or two cars and everyone use it, and they would coordinate when someone would need it and when while the other person is resting. So they're lowering costs, but keeping the resources, saving the resources, right? And so imagine all of that coming into one. We can't live amongst each other. That's why in COVID there were so many divorces that happened during COVID, because people were like, I don't know who this person is. We
I
dated,
don't know who I am.
right, right. We dated.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? We dated while we were both working 40 hours a week, coming home, sleeping, spending 2, 3 hours with each other, max. And one of those hours was preparing for the next day, and then we go back to work. So you the honeymoon phase is extended because let's say the honeymoon phase was 10,000 hours, you know, and then you get 2 hours with them that day, 2 hours the next day, 2 hours. And so during COVID, they're like right on next to each other, and they're like, I do not like this person. So one more thing before we leave, I saw something here. Keep on pushing, and the man asked at the end, "Who pushed me?" So I thought, keep on pushing.
Keep on pushing.
Also,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So like, push each other, push each other, but don't push each other to the point to where you're handicapping someone, right? Don't push someone else more than you push yourself.
Mm.
You know, and I think a lot of times we do that, and that's what gets people caught up into this perpetual self, um, or this perpetual trying to impress others, because everybody's worried about everybody else. Everybody's looking what everybody else is doing. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because no one's worried about what they themselves are doing, except for the people that are actually successful.
Weight Watchers, Brandon. That reminds me of the Weight Watchers. Like we were
Yeah.
saying, everybody's watching everybody's weight. Like you'll have someone that you see is overweight, but they'll walk up to you and say, "I was talking about this with my mom the other day. Um, how she keeps saying that people that are she sees overweight come up to her. Oh my gosh, you've gotten so little. But if you said, oh my gosh, and you've gotten really big, they would have a problem with it, right? So everybody's
Right.
watching each other's weight. What
Mm,
about the outer weight? When it comes a time where we are focused on your inner weight, right? You won't
mm-hmm.
have to worry about the outer weight. So there's a part in here, Brenda, that also says, oh my gosh, I just saw it. Oh, here it is. The people who succeed are those who give themselves a little nudge just when they need it. Just when they need it. Do you know first when you need that nudge? And are you capable of pushing yourself? Or do you have people in your life that are going to push you? Go, do this. Push, push, push. Right? So I like that part too. All right, let's get out of here. We did not
Let's do it.
succeed
I
in
know
our.
we never do. See what happens is I woke up on you a little bit. I'm about to rest. But I will see you later on. Me and my mom are gonna be meeting up and doing some grilling today. So I'm so excited to come out there and see you, Mom. Thank you. Thank you for opening up your home and allowing us to come, and can't wait to enjoy you. But y'all do something that matters today. Go enjoy somebody that you love. Give them a hug. Send this video. Send one of our other shows and share it with them. One of the ones that you think spoke out to them. And I know you guys have one. You know, the people that have been coming here every day. I know someone's come up in your mind like, ooh, so and so could really use this one. Send it to them. Give them that little push and keep on pushing, right?
Mm,
And look in the mirror and push yourself. What's one thing that you've heard of in these 214 days? What's the most impactful one? The one that you need the most?
mm,
What vitamin, what personal development vitamin are you deficient of the most that you need to re-up on? Take it. Take it today. We got this long weekend, most of us. Um, And please don't take it for granted. Use this as a time for self-development, personal development, and do some good. Go do something good. All right. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. Today's title was Keep On Pushing. And our quote from Mary Church Terrell, the feminist and civil rights activist, said, keep on going, keep on pushing, keep on fighting injustice. And our affirmation for today is, no one needs to push me towards success. I am self-motivated. Y'all can say it with me. No one needs to push me towards success. I am self-motivated. Thank you, Mom, for thank y'all for coming. We'll see you next time on the End This Season podcast. Thank you. Peace.